Hello book lover, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kay and today I am finally doing the long awaited part 2 to my bookshelf tour series. This series, I don't know how many videos it's going to go on. I'm just going one by one through all of the books that I have on my shelves behind me. I'm not going super duper in depth reading the synopsis of them all because that's just too much. I just want you guys to know what's on my shelf, what I'm excited about, what I've read, what I've loved, and all of that jazz. So stick around if you are here for the bookshelf tour part 2 contemporary fiction. Before we get started, I have to show you guys my absolutely adorable bookshelf tour earrings. Are these not the cutest things ever? They will now be in every bookshelf tour series video. No, this is not sponsored. I got them from like a little booth at a book festival and they're just so cute. It's just so perfect for bookshelf tour videos. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump on in to the contemporary fiction. So technically I have 2.5 shelves of contemporary fiction. I think I'm gonna try to go through at least one full shelf. I don't have that much time because I have to be jumping on reading sprints here within an hour with my Patreon group. So I'm just gonna go through and show you guys what I have. Some I know more about than others. Hopefully you can find some new titles that interest you too. So the first 2 books that I have are both by Sarah Adams. These are her no spice books. I think she has started to write spice. I've been honestly a little bit hesitant about picking them up, but The Match is one that just sounds so super duper cute. It is about, I believe, a single dad and a woman, and then there are dogs involved, and his daughter somehow connects with this woman because I think she helps rehome special needs dogs or something like that. It just sounds super cute. And my friend Caitri from Book Nerd Caitri here on YouTube, this is one of her favorite rom-coms, and so I just think I need to read it. And then the Off Limits role, she's a hairstylist, y'all. I'm a hairstylist and I have yet to read one of these rom-coms with a beautician character, and so I need to read it. Do I know totally what this is about? No, I don't. But these are no spice rom-coms. I'm not sure about language and that kind of stuff, so you'll just have to stay tuned where I fall with these, but they both sound super fun. The next author that I have on my shelf is one that I read and loved in high school, and that is Mitch Albom. I read his book Tuesdays with Morrie, and it was a really impactful book that right after I finished it, I actually went into reading The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. I honestly don't know where Mitch Albom falls on the faith scale. I don't know if he's a Christian or not because I've just read so many mixed things online. Theologically, I don't know if his books are accurate, but they are inspirational messages of hope, and from what I remember, they were pretty clean. The 5 People You Meet in Heaven is about this man who dies, and then he meets 5 people that he impacted somehow in his time on earth, and the people that he met in heaven were people that he wasn't expecting to meet that he somehow impacted. And then The Stranger on a Lifeboat, the back of this one says, what would happen if we cried out to God for help and someone claiming to be God actually appeared before us? In Mitch Albom's profound novel, a group of shipwrecked passengers must face the challenge when a strange man they pull from the water says he can save them all, but only if they believe in him. And then Finding Chica, this is a little girl in earthquake in the making of a family. I believe this is the story about how he adopted his daughter. But these are the 3 Mitch Albom books. I would like to reread The 5 People We Meet in Heaven and then read the other 2 and just see what I think. No, I do not think that these are going to be super sound theological stories, obviously meeting a stranger on a boat claiming he's God and can save them, but I'm just interested to see what I would think of these as an adult and what kind of just wisdom I can pull from him, because I do remember really being inspired by the 2 books by him that I read in high school. The next author on my shelf is literally one of my all-time favorite Christian romance authors ever, and that is Pepper Basham. So I have Authentically Izzy. This is about a librarian who is in love with somebody who lives in a different country, I believe, and they communicate this entire book by email. I know there's a ton of Lord of the Rings references. I've heard the audiobook is fantastic, and this is just like a book lover's dream of a book. So I actually plan to listen to this one on audio and read along, but the entire book is formatted in emails, which I think is just super fun and would make for a quicker read. And then also in that series, I honestly don't know what they are about Positively Penelope and Loyally Luke. This one seems like it's going to be some kind of farm boy, and this one's going to have to do with some theater and things like that. So Positively Penelope says the world could do with a little more kindness and positivity and random acts of singing, don't you think? Super cute. And then Loyally Luke says sometimes love means embracing the good, the bad, and even the impossible. Pepper Basham, she just gets my sense of humor. I don't know, like every single one of her books I've just laughed out loud so hard at, but she also has amazing faith underlying themes in her stories that are just super deep and meaningful while also being able to make you laugh. Like she can make you laugh and she can make you cry all in a few paragraphs. I just love her books so much. And then I also have Some Like It Scott by Pepper Basham. This one says, she lives her life on the fly. His heart is double knotted to home. Can two different souls create a life together? This one has to do with a travel writer and podcaster, I believe, traveling to Scotland and falling in love. And I just think it sounds super fun. And she's actually releasing book 2 sometime later this year or next year. Definitely want to read this one before the next one comes out. And then my final contemporary romance, don't worry, I have historical romance by Pepper Basham too, but my final contemporary one that I have by her is A Brood Awakening. This one I read a few months ago as an advanced reader's copy, and I just love it so much. You have the tea shop owner Daphne, and then you have Finn Dashwood, who has traveled from across the pond to set up his own pub in the small town of Wisteria. It's so cute. It's so funny. This has one of my favorite cast of characters ever. It's such a beautiful story, and it's one that Pepper wrote from her personal experiences. I don't want to say what that is because that would give kind of the last half of the book away. This town, this little community, faces some hardships together, and the way that they come together is so beautiful. The romance is adorable. Finn has a little girl named Lucy, and she's just like the sweetest little girl in a book ever, and I just love this one so much. So those are all the books I have that are contemporary by Pepper Basham. Next is a Christian contemporary romance that my friend Caitri actually sent me for my birthday, and that is Love and Other Goals by Tracy Bach. I actually want to read this one within the next month or two because Caitri just speaks so highly of it, and if Caitri loves a book, I'm probably gonna love the book. And so this is just a good Christian contemporary romance. Caitri said it was like the first Christian romance that she read, and the faith themes are so good, and it's just such a beautiful story. And so this is about a woman who is a very type A planner. She has her life planned out, and then the guy comes in and he just completely changes all of her plans. And I just think this cover is so adorable. Moving down to the next shelf. Okay, I'm not gonna hold all of these up, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of these are Mandy Blake. And Mandy Blake, you've been on my channel, you've heard me talk about her for the past several months because I've been reading through her Love in Blackwater series. And then she also has a Wolf Creek Ranch series that I also have. So Wolf Creek Ranch, this is Christian cowboy romance. These are not rom-coms, these are contemporary. So definitely more heavy themes in them. And then Love in the Storm, this is Love in Blackwater series. This is about people finding and coming to Christ later in life. I just love Mandy Blake's books so much. I kind of describe them as soap operas, like Christian soap operas, because the faith themes and the faith content in them is just so good, so moving to me, so relatable to me as somebody who didn't truly give her life to Christ until she turned 18. I just love these books. There are some very hard things, very triggering things in them, so this is something I would absolutely research. I call them soap operas because I don't know where Mandy Blake comes up with her plot lines. There are some times when I'm reading her books and I'm just going, you know, like, she did not just say that. He did not just go there. Mandy Blake goes there. And the plot twists are just so random, things that happen out of left field, but in a way they work and they just make the story so good. So these books are just like dramacentral.com, and I love them and I eat them up, but the faith content in them is just so good. The next Christian contemporary romance that I have on my shelf is Letters of Grace by T. Bell. This is the first in a series called The Montgomery Brothers. Emrys loved Brooks Montgomery since she was 6, and he proposed with a strawberry ring pop on the playground. 22 years, a real marriage, and a 3-year-old daughter later, she still loves him, but no one warns you how hard marriage is even if you're in love. Emrys lost herself in being a wife and raising her daughter. unheard, unseen, looked through. That's what love and marriage look like for her now. And Brooks, well, he's too busy trying to provide for his family to recognize the problems in his marriage. So when Emran offers an ultimatum, counseling or divorce, he feels blindsided. Sure, he's been distracted lately, and yeah, maybe he lets his past haunt him more than he should, but that's life. None of that means he doesn't love her. They are sinking into a quicksand of pride, anger, resentment, and fear. They have lost sight of their vows to each other and God. Will the quicksand win, or will they make their way to a firm foundation built on their faith, respect, and love for each other? So that is Letters of Grace by T. Bell. The next series I have also talked about on my channel, but that is the But He's a Carter Brothers series by Anna Conway. The first one is But He's My Grumpy Neighbor, so super duper cute. The second one is But He's My One Regret. I read that one last month and also loved it, and I'm just so excited to continue reading this series and finish it this year. The covers are like amazing. Here, I'll put the first book on the front. Anna Conway is a Christian author who writes clean romance. There is no language in these, no spice, no anything like that. They are just so sweet and fun and romantic. They are lighthearted, but Anna Conway also does talk about some deeper topics, and so I really, really love that. Both of the characters in But He's My Grumpy Neighbor have some emotional baggage and then also some childhood trauma and things like that. But He's My One Regret, this one does have a homicide police detective, so there are some like heavier themes with that. Nothing graphic, but some of the cases he's working on is explained, and mental health is a huge, huge topic in these books. So they are clean, they are wonderful, they are so good, but they do have some heavier topics in them, and I think that's just what I like when it comes to a rom-com. Like, I want to be able to laugh and cry because I want it to touch my heart, but I also want it to, you know, not be so deep and dark that it just leaves me feeling blah, for the lack of a better term. Anyway, But He's a Carter Brothers series by Anna Conway is just a must read. It's so much fun. The next book that I have on my shelf is The Divine Proverb of Streusel by Sarah Brunsfeld, and this is a Christian fiction novel. There are going to be some pretty heavy faith topics in this. What I know about this one is I think there's like a gal going through a breakup or something, and so she decides to leave her town and go stay with her family somewhere, and she finds all of these recipe cards that were her grandmother's or great-grandmother's or something like that, and she has these proverbs and things written on the recipe cards. So she's finding some healing through the baking and through the people around her and things like that. But I have heard that this is a little bit deeper than people thought. Like, they thought it would be a little more lighthearted, so just know that if you want to pick this one up, it's going to have some pretty heavy faith content and themes and things going through it. I'm gonna be honest, the next two that I have been considering unhauling, but I do think I want to try to read them sooner than later, and if I don't, then I will be unhauling. But the first one is The Second Chance at Sunshine Inn by Amy Clipston. This book is like Grumpy Sunshine. Two people inherit this inn together. One person wants to sell it, one person doesn't, and they, you know, they end up like falling in love. It just sounds super cute, small town. And then I also picked up this one, The Lighthouse at the Cove. It just looks like super summery, and again, it's just one of those Hallmark romance type of books, which sometimes I just get in a mood where I do just want Hallmark romance type of book. So I've been keeping these two on my shelf specifically for when that mood strikes. It's just been more rare these days. So if I don't read these in the next couple of months, I will be unhauling them just because I've heard mixed things about these authors. My friend Amanda really, really liked Second Chance at Sunshine Inn, so I think I do need to read it and that I would enjoy it. It's just, these are two that have been on the back burner that I've just kind of been on the fence about. They are so summery, and I don't own a bunch of summery books, so I definitely would hope to read them sooner than later, and if I don't, they are going to be unhauled. The next rom-com that I have, Not How I Saw That Going, a sweet romantic comedy by Janessa Fayed. I found this author on Instagram. She's an indie author, and I'm all about supporting indie authors. Many of these authors that I've actually showed you in today's bookshelf tour have been indie authors. This is about a single mom, small town, and a fireman. And I read like one fireman romance a few years ago, and it was like very cheesy, like he's coming into the smoky room and he saves her and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm interested to see what I think of this. It just sounded like so much fun, and the title, Not How I Saw That Going, just sounds hilarious. And so this one had a lot of good reviews, and a lot of people said that it really made them laugh and that they just really, really love her books. So I really wanted to support this indie author and try one of her rom-coms. The next two books that I have are both by Melissa Ferguson. Again, I haven't read these two. I have Meet Me in the Margins. This is about like a romance author or something. She really wants to write a book and she leaves her manuscript at work one day and her coworker ends up leaving notes in the margins of her manuscript. And this actually just became a movie, I'm pretty sure. And people have absolutely loved it. So I would like to read this book because it just sounds adorable. And then I also have The Perfect Rom-Com. This one says she's written dozens of smash hit romance novels. Too bad no one knows it. Is this like the same storyline? Okay, hold up. Okay, so yes, this is a romance writer and notes were left in the margins. This one says aspiring author Bryony Page attends her first writers conference bursting with optimism and ready to sell her manuscript with long shot dreams of raising awareness for The Bridge, her grandmother's financially struggling organization where she teaches ESL full-time. But after a disastrous pitch session, she stumbles into correcting another author's work in a last-ditch attempt to make a good impression on the agent, and she, as it turns out, is spot on. No one is more surprised than Bryony when the agent offers her the opportunity to be a ghost writer for Amelia Benedict, popular rom-com novelist. So 2 rom-coms about writers by Melissa Ferguson. This next one is one I have been meaning to get to since last summer, but of course, I just feel bad that I have all these books I've had for so long that I really would like to read. Love in a Little White Lie by Tammy L. Gray. This one is about a woman who is not a believer and she ends up going through some hardships and gets a job at a church as the secretary. So her little white lie is that she's pretending that she's a Christian, she's pretending that she's a believer. And then I believe there ends up being a romance between her and a musician at this church. And so she's falling in love, but she's also telling this lie that she's a believer. I have heard nothing but absolutely amazing things about this author and that this book in particular is just absolutely incredible. It is one that I'm kicking myself that I haven't picked it up yet because I definitely would like to see where this story goes. The next book that I have on my shelf is Gelato at the Villa by Robin Jones Gunn. So this is the second book in the Suitcase Sisters series. However, you don't have to read them in order. This is a story about 2 friends who go on a trip to Italy. However, one of the friends is struggling with church hurt. You see this friend walking with her friend through this journey of going through church hurt, and I believe that Italy is a place that has a lot of faith or like a lot of beautiful like imagery and things like that. So I have heard nothing but amazing things about this book. This is one of my best friend Amanda's favorite books and she did a vlog on it and was crying and she sent this to me for my birthday, and so I'm definitely just excited to read it and just see what all of her feelings and emotions were, and she's told me that she thinks I'll really like this one and the faith content. Okay, this is the last one that I'm gonna do today and then we'll do the next contemporary shelf on another day. The final book is How to Fall for a Cowboy by Cassandra Joelle. So this one says, she's glossy nails, he's flaky crust, the plan half-baked, whatever that means. In the town of Maple Haven, Wyoming, autumn is a celebration. Ginger Hart is spending the season like she has for the past year, hopelessly crushing on Dallas, a trainer from the gym. In her quest for his attention, Ginger's lost more than a few pounds, maybe a bit of herself. As the town gears up for the annual pumpkin stampede, something, or rather someone, rolls into town in a pumpkin-themed dessert truck parked right outside Ginger's salon. So this is one of those other ones that are about a beautician. Behind the counter, ex-bull rider Tucker Callahan. He's all cowboy hat and delicious sweets. Basically, everything Ginger's been trying to avoid. When they decide to fake date for his image and for her to get Dallas's attention, he proposes one sugary sweet condition. As cozy sparks fly, Ginger begins to wonder if God's sweetest plan aren't always the ones we bake up ourselves. So this is a cowboy Christian rom-com, and this one I had so many friends recommend to me. This is again an indie author, so I wanted to support her, and I am saving this one specifically for the fall time, so I will be reading this one this fall, and I can't be more excited about that. So there we have it. That was part 1 of the contemporary part of my bookshelf tour. I have one more contemporary shelf that I'll be doing, but I think my next video will probably be a historical part 1, then we'll jump back into contemporary, then we'll do historical part too. I have a lot of historical books, you guys. It's just like my favorite genre. If you made it this far in the video, could you please leave me a smiley face emoji in the comment section below? Also, let me know if you've read any of these books or enjoyed them. That way you can maybe help motivate me and get me a little more excited about reading the ones that are on my TBR still. As always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you have an absolute blessed week, and I will see you next time. Bye!